Exodus chapter 29. Now this is what you are to do to consecrate them as priests. Take a young bull and 2 unblemished rams, and unleavened bread, cakes made with oil, and unleavened wafers coated with oil. You are to make them using fine wheat flour. Put them in a basket and present them in the basket along with the bull and the 2 rams. Bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting and wash them with water. Take the garments and put on Aaron the tunic, the robe of the ephod, and the breastplate, and tie the embroidered sash around him. Put the turban on his head and place the holy diadem on the turban. Take the anointing oil and anoint him by pouring it on his head. Next, you are to bring his sons and clothe them with tunics. Tie sashes around them and put headbands on them. The priesthood is to be theirs by permanent ordinance. You will ordain Aaron and his sons. Bring the bull to the front of the tent of the meeting, and Aaron and his sons must lay their hands on the bull's head. You are to slaughter the bull before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Take some of the bull's blood and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger. You are to pour out all the blood at the base of the altar. Take all the fat that covers the entrails, the fatty lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys with the fat on them, and burn them on the altar. But burn the bull's flesh, its hide, and its waist outside the camp. It is a sin offering. Take one of the rams, and Aaron and his sons must lay their hands on the ram's head. You are to slaughter the ram, take its blood, and sprinkle it on all sides of the altar. Cut the ram into pieces and wash the entrails and shanks with water. Place the pieces and the head on the altar. Burn the entire ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to the Lord. It is a pleasing aroma, a fire offering to the Lord. You shall take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. You shall slaughter the ram, and take some of its blood and put it on the lobe of the right ear of Aaron, and on the lobes of the right ears of his sons, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet, and throw the rest of the blood against the sides of the altar. Then take some of the blood that is on the altar, and some of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aaron and on his garments, and also on his sons and their garments. So he and his garments shall be holy, and his sons and their garments shall be holy. You shall take the fat of the ram, the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, and the fatty lobe that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, and the right thigh, for it is a ram of ordination, and 1 loaf of bread, 1 cake of oiled bread, and 1 wafer out of the basket of unleavened bread that is before the Lord. And you shall put all these on the palms of Aaron and on the palms of his sons, and raise them as an elevation offering before the Lord. Then you shall take from their hands and burn them on the altar on top of the burnt offering as a pleasing aroma before the Lord. It is a food offering to the Lord. You shall take the breast of the ram of Aaron's ordination and raise it as an elevation offering before the Lord, and it shall be your portion. You shall consecrate the breast of the elevation offering that is raised and the thigh of the contribution that is offered from the ram of ordination, from what is for Aaron and from what is for his sons. It shall be for Aaron and his sons as a perpetual share from the Israelites, for it is a contribution. It shall be the contribution from the Israelites of their peace offerings, their contribution to the Lord. The holy garments of Aaron shall be for his sons after him, to be anointed in them and ordained in them. The son who succeeds him as priest, who comes into the tent of meeting to minister in the holy place, shall wear them 7 days. You shall take the ram of ordination and boil its flesh in a holy place, and Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket at the entrance of the tent of meeting. They shall eat those things by which atonement was made at their ordination and consecration. But an outsider shall not eat of them, for they are holy. If any of the flesh for the ordination of the bread remains until the morning, then you shall burn the remainder. It shall not be eaten, for it is holy. This is what you are to do for the altar. Offer it for 7 days and prepare the altar. You shall consecrate the altar, and it will be most holy. Whatever touches the altar will be holy. This is what you are to offer on the altar regularly each day. 2 lambs a year old. Offer one in the morning and the other at twilight. The with the first lamb, offer a tenth of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with a quarter of a hin of oil from pressed olives, and a quarter of a hin of wine as a drink offering. Sacrifice the other lamb at twilight with the same grain offering and its drink offering as in the morning. This will be a pleasing aroma, a fire offering to the Lord. For the generations to come, this burnt offering is to be made regularly at the entrance to the tent of meeting before the Lord. There I will meet you and speak to you. There also I will meet with the Israelites, and the place will be consecrated by my glory. I will consecrate the tent of meeting and the altar, and will consecrate Aaron and his sons to serve me as priests. Then I will dwell among the Israelites and be their God. They will know that I am the Lord their God, who brought them out of Egypt, so that I might dwell among them. I am the Lord their God. Exodus chapter 30. You are to make an altar for the burning of incense. You are to make it of acacia wood. It must be square, 1 cubit long and 1 cubit wide. It must be 2 cubits high. Its horn must be of one piece with it. Overlay it with pure gold, both the top of it and all the sides and the horns, and make a gold molding all around it. Make 2 gold rings for it under the molding on both of its sides. Put these on the 2 sides of it so that the poles may be put through them to carry it. You are to make the poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold. You are to place it in front of the curtain by the ark of the testimony, in front of the mercy seat that is over the testimony, where I will meet with you. Aaron must burn fragrant incense on it. He must burn it every morning when he tends the lamps. When Aaron sets up the lamps in the evening, he must burn incense again. This is to be a regular incense offering before the Lord throughout your generations. You must not offer unauthorized incense on it, or a burnt offering or a grain offering, and you must not pour a drink offering on it. Once a year, Aaron is to perform the rite of atonement on its horns. The altar is most holy to the Lord. The Lord spoke to Moses, "When you take a census of the Israelites to register them, each one of those registered must pay a ransom for his life to the Lord as they are registered. Then no plague will come on them as they are registered. Everyone who is registered must pay half a shekel according to the sanctuary shekel, 20 gerahs to the shekel. This half shekel is a contribution to the Lord. Each man who is registered, 20 years old or more, must give this contribution to the Lord. The wealthy may not give more, and the poor may not give less than half a shekel when giving the contribution to the Lord to make atonement for your lives. You shall take the atonement money from the Israelites and spend it on the service of the tent of meeting. It shall be a memorial for the Israelites before the Lord, making atonement for your lives." The Lord spoke to Moses, "You shall make a basin of bronze with a bronze stand for washing, and you shall put it between the tent of meeting and the altar, and you shall put water in it. With the water Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet. When they go into the tent of meeting, or when they come near the altar to minister, to offer an offering by fire to the Lord, they shall wash with water so that they may not die. They shall wash their hands and their feet so that they may not die. It shall be a perpetual statute for them, for him and for his descendants throughout the generations." The Lord spoke to Moses, "Take the finest spices, of liquid myrrh 500 shekels, and of sweet-smelling cinnamon half as much, that is 250, and 250 shekels of aromatic cane, and 500 shekels of cassia, according to the sanctuary shekel, and a hin of olive oil. And you shall make of these a sacred anointing oil blended as by the perfumer. It shall be a holy anointing oil. With it you shall anoint the tent of meeting and the ark of the covenant, and the table and all its utensils, and the lampstand and its utensils, and the altar of incense, and the altar of burnt offering and all its utensils, and the basin with its stand. You shall consecrate them so that they may be most holy. Whatever touches them will become holy. You shall say to the Israelites, 'This shall be my holy anointing oil throughout your generations. It shall not be used for anointing of the body of an ordinary person, and you shall not make any other like it in composition. It is holy, and it shall be holy to you. Whoever compounds any like it, or whoever puts any of it on an outsider shall be cut off from his people. The Lord said to Moses, Take sweet spices, stacte, and onyxa, and galbanum, these sweet spices and pure frankincense, with each in equal parts, and make an incense blended as by the perfumer, seasoned with salt, pure and holy. You shall beat some of it very fine, and put part of it before the covenant in the tent of meeting, where I shall meet with you. It shall be for you most holy. You shall not make any for yourselves in the same composition. It shall be for you holy to the Lord. Whoever makes any like it to use as perfume shall be cut off from his people. Matthew chapter 22. Once more Jesus spoke to them in parables. The kingdom of heaven is like a king who gave a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to summon those invited to the banquet, but they didn't want to come. Again he sent out other servants and said, Tell those who are invited, See, I've prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened cattle have been slaughtered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet. But they paid no attention and went away, one to his own farm, another to his business, while the rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged, and he sent out his troops, killed those murderers, and burned down their city. He told his servants, The banquet is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. Go then to where the roads exit the city, and invite everyone you find to the banquet. So those servants went out on the road and gathered everyone they found, both evil and good. The wedding banquet was filled with guests. When the king came in to see the guests, he saw a man there who was not dressed for a wedding. So he said to him, Friend, how did you get in here without wedding clothes? The man was speechless. Then the king told the attendants, Tie him up hand and foot and throw him into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are invited, but few are chosen. Then the Pharisees went and plotted how to trap him by what he said. So they sent their disciple to him, along with the Herodians. Teacher, they said, we know that you are truthful and teach truthfully the way of God. You don't care what anyone thinks, nor do you show partiality. Tell us then what you think. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Perceiving their malicious intent, Jesus said, Why are you testing me, hypocrites? Show me the coin used for the tax. And they brought him a denarius. Then he said to them, Whose head is this, and whose title? They answered, Caesar's. Then he said to them, Give therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. When they heard this, they were amazed, and they left him and went away.